everyone, and welcome to Jess and the Guest. My guest today is a good one. Today I have comedian Ryan Sickler on the podcast. He is a stand-up comedian, a storyteller, an award-winning producer, and host of the Honeydew podcast. His podcast focuses on highlighting and laughing at the low points of life and averages a mere 1.5 million downloads per month. No big deal. He's an incredible comedian guy. He makes me laugh so hard. He's the best. I hope you like this episode.
Back. I'm getting ready to go back. Yeah, Philly and Baltimore are like cousins for sure.
Yeah. Was it a big change going to LA at all?
I mean, yeah, it was. It's so long ago, I have to really think about it. It was a big change. There's so many more people, so many more. Yes is the answer. What it was is I'm thinking about like culture. You know, honest to God, I know this is going to sound so ignorant, but I didn't know what an Armenian, I had never met an Armenian ever in my life.
Me either. Yeah. Nope.
You know, and then all of a sudden there's this whole city of them right here. You know what I mean? Like, maybe I don't know shit. You know what I mean? There's a little Ethiopia out here. Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? So you see that culture. The closest I got, Baltimore was pretty much black and white.
Yeah.
And then DC would have, more culture with Dominicans and Puerto Rican, and I learned a little more. And then New York, of course, going up there. But I felt like Baltimore and Philly, there wasn't much diversity outside of black and white, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I didn't even meet a Jewish person until I went to college. Like, I was like, what? Like, everyone I knew was, yeah, it's fine. But wait, I'm so excited for your tour. Tell me everything. What are you most excited for?
Well, I'm most excited to safely get back out there, to be honest. But I miss stand-up. Stand-up it's unlike anything else. It's like the podcasts are great, but sometimes with your schedule as a parent or tour or whatever it is, you might have another job. You have to record ahead, and you forget what you say because you spent an hour plus with someone 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And you remember those moments just like someone watching it does. Those moments resonate, but you don't always remember everything. You do a movie or a TV show, it could be 6 months, 8 months before it comes out. There is nothing like the immediate reaction of stand-up, good or bad. It is immediate. You don't have to wait 3 weeks to hear it or a year or whatever it is. So that's what I'm most excited to get back out, see people, healthy people having a good time. People are excited to be out too. We've all been locked up for so damn long. Everybody wants to laugh and have a good time.
Yeah. And I've been so lucky to see you perform live. Have you always been that good? Like, have you ever, because you're so confident, you're great. Yeah.
Listen, if you knew what I felt like inside, I tell you, that's an art form too,
Yeah.
Walking through life like everything's all right all the time when it's not. No, podcasting did that. Podcasting, like if you go, it's funny, you always think you're ready. You know what I mean? Your ego's like, nah, we're ready. And then you do a set, you record it, you watch it 5 years later, you're like, you see that shit. And but podcasting changed my stand-up for sure. And I talk about it because we would tell these stories, especially back when we started on the Crab Feast, things like that. And other people sitting around a table are like, are you talking about that on stage? You're like, no, you got to talk about that on stage. And I turned so many stories from the podcast into stories in my stand-up now. I know guys like Rory Scovel, he created a whole closer off of a story he told that just was something like, you gotta fucking tell that. It's a great story. So that certainly changed my stand-up style.
Yeah, because what I love too about your podcast, you do pull such great stories out of people where I haven't really seen, like you do it with such an art form that I feel like a lot of people can't do. I still can't get over the Joel McHale interview. Like I had no idea about his dyslexia, and like, I don't know, I feel like you're able to pull such great stories out.
Thank you. Look, a lot of people say that to me. They do, and it blows me away. And I'm just thinking like, maybe there's two parts to it. I can't deny that so many people say it. You know, okay, I'll equate it to this. When I moved to California, people are like, man, you have an accent. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I just the other day, I've been here since 1997.
Wow.
Just at my daughter's soccer game, the lady's like, where are you from? What's that Southern accent I'm getting? I'm like, I still get it like twice a week. And then for years, and even still a touch, I'm in denial. I think I sound like you sound. You know what I mean? In my head, I sound like you sound.
Yeah.
So I denied it. But the overwhelming evidence of my accent is beyond there. So it's undeniable. Only if you're a lunatic, you would deny it. So I appreciate what you're saying. I've gotten it enough now to think that maybe I do a good job at that. But also the other part is like, I don't think I'm doing anything special. I just think I'm being nice. You know what I mean? I just feel like I'm making a safe space and telling you, obviously, outside these lights and cameras and blah, 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 I'm making a safe space where I want you to be able to talk about it. And I tell everybody before we're even rolling, like, if it's something that you're on the fence with, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, just don't. It lives forever. Just don't. And I don't know, people really get comfortable. I've seen so many people cry, which I didn't think. And God, to hear women talk about rape and assault. I mean, I never thought I would hear those stories. Never. I thought people be talking about nonsense and laughing at some of the stuff, but man, people have gone fucking deep. So
and what I love too about your
podcast, cuss, by the way.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you can fucking do it. No. What I love too about your podcast is I'm like laughing 1 minute, I'm crying another, I'm learning so much. Like it's like one of the only ones I listen to. So I love it.
I love it. I love my life right now. I love my job right now. I sit across from these comedians who, I mean, man, they've been through some shit. We've all been through some shit. And for them to cry one moment and then have us laughing the next, you know, that's how my family, we always dealt with our tragedy. Like, I didn't know that was wasn't normal or a special. I didn't know. That's what we always do. We'd be like, oh, you better not do that shit. You end up like dad. You know what I mean? Would somebody just drop a joke? Your dad's still dead, right? You know, that was the way we dealt with it. I didn't know there were a bunch of other people out there that did that too, that also found it comforting. You know, I've gotten emotional a few times on the show, and I love it. And also the Patreon, the Honeydew with y'all. Like, there's not that these comedians aren't strangers. We sort of know each other. Some of us obviously know each other very well, and then there's other people you know through comedy or through a friend of a friend, and you've just never really connected. And then to connect with them in this moment, you know, what a great first impression to meet someone like that. To me is memorable, and it's lasting. And I fucking love it. And then to talk to strangers who are comfortable to share their fucking stories. And I'm hearing about people with 2 vaginas and a guy solving a cold case, and you know, someone's dead and coming back. Like, oh man, it's crazy. I love it though.
You have like the most exciting life. Like, I feel like no one else could say that. Like, oh, you know, how was your day? Just talking to 2 vaginas, doing this.
That's all like, oh, today, right after you, I'm talking to a guy from Maryland who, I may be saying this wrong, but I believe he's a paraclimber, and either he's paralyzed or he doesn't have legs. He's in a wheelchair and he climbs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know. I'm a moron. So I can't wait to talk to this guy to hear what's going on.
Wow. It makes me feel like such an underachiever when I'm like making excuses not go to the gym. And he's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to go down the steps to get out of the car, you know?
Do you have like, I mean, it seems stupid to ask like if you have a favorite moment on the podcast or a favorite guest, but is there one that like stands out that you were just like, I can't believe this happened? Or I feel like every podcast that you do.
Yeah, I mean, it is very hard to pick that moment because there have been a few where I was like, whew, you know, from Jeremiah Watkins crying for 25 minutes in a small box during COVID. That's they're like, hey, you shouldn't be around any kind of liquids from anybody. Basically, I'm getting snot, tears, everything else out of his ass. Jesse May Peluso's story.
Yeah.
Lana Negretti coming on here after the store being looted, after the riots was crazy. Carlotta, who does the voiceover for me. Jessa Reed, who was one of the episodes before I had video, talking about the meth and the aliens. Moranzio Vance, talking about being molested by female cousins on one side of his family as a young boy, and then when he went to his cousins on the other side of the family, he tried to do to them what his cousins were doing to him.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, there's been a lot of those moments.
Oh
it's hard to pick one.
I feel like you're also like part therapist too, and like therapist comedian. Jesus.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
So I know with going on tour, do you have any like pre-show rituals or anything you're like, I have to do this before I go on stage?
I like to shower and get in some water, honestly, because I don't know. I know this sounds so stupid, but whatever. I am a Pisces. I'm a very much a water person.
No, me too.
In that shower, and I'll let that water run over me, and I just feel creative. I feel like it opens my mind. That's my start, and then it depends. If the club's close enough, I like to put some music on and walk.
Oh, awesome. I like that. Yeah.
And get like a little fired up that way. And then it all, ideally I'd love to be in a green room, just, going over maybe some notes or just chilling and relaxing and laughing with somebody.
Oh.
Those are the best. Those green room moments are the best moments. Like that stuff nobody else gets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the shit. Yeah. And but sometimes they don't have a green room, so you don't get that. You're standing outside like, did they call me?
I know.
Not yet. Oh, you got the light? Okay. You're still waiting out there. Just bang on the door when it's my turn. You're the headliner. So.
It's so true. Like I just had so many flashbacks to do it, like trying to do stand up in the winter during COVID. Like I was like in the rain outside. They were like, I was like, is there a green? They're like, no, just put your head down and then we'll just pop.
I mean, that's the longest. I didn't do any of the drive-in shows, the car ones.
Yeah.
It's the longest I haven't done stand-up since I've been doing stand-up was during the pandemic. It was, and I'm trying to, the last time just prior to Phoenix last weekend, I would do like 25 or 30 minutes when I did shows with Tom and Bert. Yeah. But the last time I did an hour was in January of 2020. I was kicking the tour off at the Ice House, and that was the beginning of it. And then what was it, like end of January, and then I was going to be March, and then it was done.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was the last time I did an hour. It was a year and a half, maybe a little longer.
Oh my God. Well, I'm so excited for your tour because again, I've like seen you live, so I'm like, oh, it's gonna be great. You're gonna kill it.
Thank you.
Oh, but what's being on tour with Tom like too? I know you're doing Vegas together. Like unreal. Man.
I just called him the other day and I was like, man, like George Carlin and our idols and our heroes were not flying private jets like these fucking guys are. And I mean, they just, I don't know. You look at like a sport like football, like I equate like Pryor and Carlin, the guys like Johnny Unitas and all those guys that's were still had jobs back when football. Now these guys, they don't even get on the field and get their uniform dirty. They're making 6 figures, 7 figures. So I equate it to sort of that. These comedians like Tom and Bert and those guys have just changed the game. Burr, Chappelle to a whole nother level. Yeah. And it's pretty fucking awesome to see. I've never been on a private jet like that in my life. I've the tour bus like that in my life, and I dreamed of this shit. Like I'm living my fucking dream. It's crazy. I journal about it all the time, and I've started writing that line. I'm living my dream. It's and then Tom's just one of my best friends too. So it's that win-win. You're on the road with one of the funniest, best comedians in the world, and also you've known for almost 20 fucking years, and you go back to playing fucking Halo all night long, when you're kids.
I feel like you guys have such good banter too. Like I love seeing both of you together on like podcasts or anything. Like you can tell you've been friends for so long, and I think it's gonna be.
That's what I also think that's really what connected us too. It was this immediate channel that just flowed back and forth. There's no real, I don't ever feel stunted or I mean, Tom's whole thing is to try to get you to freak out and shut up when he shows you these fucking videos. That's his thing. But man, like I still think back to it's because I'm going to Indiana right now.
Yeah.
I featured for him years ago at this club called Crackers. And after we were done, we're at the hotel, and he puts this laptop on just like this right now, and he's like, watch this video. And I'm watching this, I'm peeking in like this, and it's a close-up of this fucking glass, a drinking glass. And this guy, this just naked from the waist down, and he squats and puts the glass up his ass, and then it breaks. And then he's pulling the glass out, and he's gushing blood out of his butthole. And he's not screaming. You can see scar tissue. And I'm just freaking out. Like, what the fuck are you? I still have never forgotten it. But what I didn't know is he was recording my reaction to watching the video.
Oh my God.
And that's what he was fucking over there, probably jerking it to that scene.
So funny.
That's what it's like.
Does it change? Like, so I've only ever done clubs. Like, does it change when you're playing these huge venues? Like, do you have to get like more physical? I don't even know. So I'm just like, does it change anything?
It does change. So I didn't know it either until I went on tour with Tom. But when you're doing 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, and now he's doing 8, 10, 12, whatever.
Yeah.
You really do have to wait. You'll hear a joke hit in the front, and you'll hear it. You'll hear it move to the back. And you can't be jumping on your next one like a club, because those people are going to miss part of it.
Wow.
So I was just saying this to Tom. I'm like, what do you think? You think a normal 15-minute club set in a theater setting, what do you think? Maybe 10 to 12? It's probably, for that slow pacing. You got to let all that settle. It's a lot of people in there,
Wow.
And
I would
also,
never
think about this. Let's just say you're only getting half the laughs. That's still, out of 4,000, that's still 2,000 fucking laughs. You know what I mean? So it's different. It hits different. It really does. When you get that first laugh, you're like, Jesus Christ.
That's so interesting though, because I never would have thought that. And yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. So now I just have some quick rapid fire questions. All right.
Okay.
If you were stranded on a tropical island, you can only bring 3 comedians. Who would you bring?
Dead or alive?
Ooh, I didn't even think about that. Either one. Yeah, that's a good.
Let's do alive and dead. I'll
Okay.
go Tom Segura for sure, because again, comedian and also friend. I would probably take Eddie Murphy. I think Eddie Murphy would constantly be bringing different characters that would be like having different people there. You know what I mean? So it'd be like more than people. And then, this third one's a tough one. It's a tough one because I feel like it would be Chappelle probably.
Yeah. As soon as I asked it, I was like, I don't even know who I would bring.
Yeah, his mind is just beyond fascinating to me. And then to put that into comedy is crazy.
Yeah.
Dead would be Pryor, Carlin. I'd love to say Robin Williams, but I think that'd be a lot of energy on that little ass island. So I'm gonna go with Pryor. I'm gonna go with Carlin, and who would be another? Oh, you know what? I think maybe Joan Rivers would be good.
Wow, yeah.
Bust a lot of people's balls and keep it fresh on that island. She'd keep everybody in check.
That was the best answer I've ever gotten to that question.
All right. I like that.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, I would say I don't have a go-to, but it would be when I do it, it's like a rally song, you know, like everybody like an easy one's Friends in Low Places, if you're in a place where everybody knows words like that, or I don't do Sweet Caroline, but that's like sort of what I'm talking about. But I like I've been playing it for my daughter and she sings the shit out of it now. But Country Road, Take Me Home by John Denver. It's such a hillbilly song, but that's a good sing along when in a bar.
I love
I'll
that.
tell you, we used to go to can I tell you the story?
Anything. Yeah, of course.
Right. So back in the day in like college, we'd be bored and, you know, wherever you're from, you always feel like nothing's going on. You're tired of being there. So we would go down to the city, to these different neighborhoods in Baltimore City, and we would pick a random one on a Saturday night or a Friday night, and it would be a karaoke bar. And we made up our own game that was like, let's say there's 5 of us, you're with us, right? Well, I go up and I sign you up and I pick a song for you, but you don't get to know what it is until you get up there, and then you have to fucking sing that song. All right. But you also, even if I fuck with you, you get to pick mine. You see what? So it was very much Impractical Jokers with karaoke before Impractical Jokers was even around. And that's what we would do. And the bar hated us at first when we walked in because they were all locals and they had their songs. They had their Never Say Goodbye by Bon Jovi, where the guy told me this was Baltimore Sinatra and the guy's crying while he's singing it. They had those songs. So we would go up and we would do it as good as we could at first. Like, let's get them, let's be welcome here first before we really get in there. And that's what we would do. And we get them all on our side. And they were like, okay. We chit chat everybody up and where are y'all from? Whatever. Oh, okay. They could see we weren't there to fuck their night up or anything. We were just going to blend in seamlessly, but we had our own thing going on. And by the end of the night, you were getting one of those fucking rally songs, you know, a Sabotage or something, getting the place all fucking fired up, you know, Bulls on Parade, and then getting the fuck out of there.
Oh my God, I love this so much too. I was like, I want to do that. Why didn't I think of that?
It's fun. It is fun.
I feel like I would just mess with people the whole time. That like.
But remember, it comes back to you. It comes back.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Man, I got a lot of fucking pet peeves.
Yeah, me too.
But my biggest one is people who can dish it and can't take it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to sit there and talk all that fucking shit, then you know what? When that sandwich comes around, it's time for you to take a fucking bite. Take your fucking bite and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Especially, I feel like being a comic. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to bust balls, and then when it's your turn, you're going to fucking boo-hoo. Shut the fuck up.
I know. Yeah. So like coming from Philly, I feel like everyone, like where I was raised, you make fun of each other. Like that's how you just show love. And
it's called bullying now.
I got to LA and they were like, "You're a bully." I was like, "Wait, what?"
No. Like, wait, I'm trying to tell you I love you.
I know.
Asshole. They throw that on at the end. Yeah.
No, exactly. So I was like, "Oh, is that not?" Yeah, it's fine. What do you have any guilty pleasure TV shows? Are you a Real Housewives fan, or I don't know?
No, I don't. Honest to God, I don't get to watch much TV, and now when I'm doing it's all football.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I do love Shark Tank.
Ooh.
I do love. I love Chris Hardwick's The Wall. That's a fun one to watch.
Oh, I've heard good things.
Watch that one. It's fun, you know, watching people get money and lose money. And then I just let my daughter watch, you know, the shit she watches. We're watching Archibald and Tip and O, and oh man, I just showed her Goonies the other night. I was like, what? I can't remember all the language, but I feel like, all right, we're gonna watch Goonies. So I put it on, and she's watched it 5 times since Sunday. Saturday. Yeah, she went nuts.
Classic.
Yeah,
I'm so impressed you can balance both too, like having a family, comedy, working. I have dogs and I'm tired. So.
Look, man, I've been working so many fucking jobs. It's never been just one thing. I've always had a writing, producing gig for networks, for television and promos and things. I also produce. I've sold a couple series, all while doing stand-up, all while podcasting, all while the last 7 years being a parent, 6 of it single parent. And I've built this tour. Like, I would like to get out there more, but also right now we've got weird shit with COVID, so I don't need to be out there every weekend anyway. And I built this tour around the weekends I don't have my daughter. So we have a 50-50 split, and we split it up, and I built it around so I could still come out there, do that, and come back and be a dad.
Oh my God. Well, I'm very impressed because you make it look easy, and it is not easy.
Listen, I'm telling you, the first people I thank are my babysitters. Thank you, Alexis Negrete. They allow me to, you know, especially to do this store shows and local shows here. Like, they're letting me get out there. So that's nice. You gotta listen, that it takes a village shit is so true.
Yeah.
I could never do this by myself. There's so many people behind the scenes.
Oh, I love too, because like you've worked with such incredible people, like being a producer too. Like you did the Funny Dance Show, you worked with Kevin Hart. Like, how was doing all of that too?
I've been lucky. I worked with Oprah. I've had some good ones. I worked at OWN when they were starting the network. I helped launch the network and move it over into the buildings they're at now, and then got to work on her very early shows over there, like Your Own Show and Master Class they were doing, and got to work with like will.i.am and Oprah and Gail and Carson, all these people that they had floating through very early on, you know, in the early days. But I got to work with her, meet her. Kevin Hart was the shit. Like, that was so much fun. I got to be a supervising producer on the Donald Mack series, and we won an award for it. But I think they finally stopped. I see a new variation of it now because he's obviously so damn popular, and that makeup that he has on he would get there like before the sun was up, and it took hours to put that shit on him. And I'm not trying to say they did a bad job, because they didn't. They did a great job. But a lot of people started to go, wait, you're Kevin Hart, or they'd seen the series already. So we would have to shoot a bunch of excess episodes, because some people were smart. They knew, and they'd shut up because they knew if they opened up, that was getting cut out. And a lot of these people wanted their camera time with Kevin Hart. So you could tell at the end, they'd be like, I knew it. I knew when you said this, I knew it. You know, they would say that. Some people couldn't even help themselves. There was one couple, a boyfriend, girlfriend, that got in, they shut the doors, they sat down, they buckled up there. Like, no way. We didn't even leave the garage. Oh my God. They were like, no way, Kevin Hart. Oh, this is Donald Mack. We love you, dude. We're like, God. And he's laughing, but we're like, God damn it. So we got to go with another person, you know? So I think they may have stopped it just because so many people were recognizing them at that point. It was getting tougher to pull them off.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Well, God, that's the best story.
Oh, it was so fun, though. He was awesome to work with. His crew was KP Anderson and Charlie Grenzer, all those people, Pygmy Wolf. They were awesome. I've been very lucky to work on some really good. I've worked on some shit shows, but definitely to work on some good stuff.
But okay, what is the worst stand-up gig you've ever done? I've done so many horrible ones, but
that's funny. Okay, so it's hard to answer. So one of the worst was, I was just saying, they were telling me in Phoenix last week that if they don't, I think they need to have a certain number of people to do a show, and they were canceling. They weren't even getting 10 people. And I remember being at Universal Studios. This is way back in the day, and they had this piano bar. They're pretty Howl at the Wolf or Howl at the Moon. They're like a chain piano bar, and they were doing a Wednesday night comedy show. And we get in there, and there's 2 people, and it's 2 girlfriends, and they're like, no, we want a show, and they sit right in the front row, and the venue makes us do it. We could have walked away, but I was like, whatever, we'll talk to it. That just was fucking stupid.
Oh my God.
That's pretty bad. But I'll never forget the Persian dentist gig. This dude did one like deep in the valley, but paid well. And then when you got there, there was no room to move. You had to stand still on the stage, and it was like this wooden dance floor here, and then tables all around it. And it was he threw a nice Christmas party for his patients and his employees from 2 different offices, and they all came, which was great. And he had a nice band, which is great. He just didn't need comedy. He was a fan of us, not everybody else. Not everybody else that didn't know who the fuck we were. A lot of people didn't even speak English, didn't know what we were saying. So they're just eating through and talking through and shit. Like it sucked. It sucked.
Yeah, that sounds like my worst nightmare, but oh my God. Okay, what is the worst or the dumbest injury you've ever had?
Oh, I got a dumb injury. I have plenty of dumb ones, but one of the dumbest was after a Monday night Ravens game against the Tennessee Titans years ago, probably like 20 some years ago. I went and played football with my friend after the win. Mm-hmm. And we were just walked across the street to the park. It's dark. And I step in a hole and my foot turns. I'm also drunk, turns so hard that the top of my foot touches the ground and it rolls back over. And I'm like, ah. And then I get up and like a moron, I continue to play and do it to the other fucking ankle.
Oh no.
So now I've got a left sprained ankle and my right ankle. I wake up in the morning, it's like this. And I'm like, oh shit. And I go to the doctor and they're like, you tore everything. So they lock my foot like this in a cast for 3 months up to my knee. And it just has to like regrow and all that. Then it's physical therapy. And to this day, I still can't, like, when you do calf raises or you step on a curve, I can't lower my left one as far as I can my right one.
Oh my God, that sounds so painful too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
All right, and last question. What is the most overrated holiday that you celebrate? If it's New Year's or Thanksgiving, I don't know.
I mean, New Year's is up there. New Year's is up there. I mean, I get the point. We're having a new year and all that shit, but that one usually seems to be a train wreck.
Yeah.
But more than New Year's is Valentine's Day.
Oh,
I want to say it properly. Valentine's Day. I want Christina P to hear me say that shit right. Yeah, that's just, it's supposed to be this one day you tell somebody you give a fuck about them, this manufactured day of cards and flowers and hearts and shit. Yeah. That one's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the overrated one.
Yeah, that's such a good answer too. I was like, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I mean, for you to feel like I have no value in my relationship or with someone I care about because something didn't happen, because I didn't get cards, candy, flowers, or special whatever on this one fucking day. And also, are you really content just fucking taking one day of that and being all right in your relationship? Fuck that. There should be a Valentine's monthly day.
Yeah. I love that. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. You're so talented. You're so funny. I love your podcast. You're amazing. So
thank you for having me.